Hi, this is my channel, Lane 8492. This is the first of two true crime story videos I'm doing this evening and have done in a few days. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the wanted fugitive John M. List, who killed his family in what he claimed to save their souls, went on the run, but used an alias, but was captured with the help of America's Most Wanted. And of course, he died in prison by using forensic sculpting. Now, this one, they also use forensic aging images, but this fugitive has never been caught, and I'm sure almost all of you are familiar with this wanted fugitive. His name was William Bradford Bishop Jr., aka Brad Bishop. You see, William Bradford Bishop Jr. was born in August of 1959 and raised in Pasadena, California, to William Bradford Bishop Sr. and Lobelia Amaryllis St. Germain Bishop. And of course, in 1959, he graduated from Yale University, and then a few months after that, he married his high school sweetheart, Annette Weis. By the mid-1970s, they had three sons, who were William Bradford Bishop III, Brenton Jermaine Bishop, and Geoffrey Corder Bishop. And of course, William Bradford Bishop Jr. served 4 years in the United States Army in counterintelligence. And that's how he developed an attraction to the international scene. And after he got out of the Army, serving in counterintelligence, he became a foreign diplomat with the Foreign Diplomat Service, was a diplomat in Italy, even in Africa, and like in Gaborone, Botswana, or Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. He very much liked it. He was fluent in languages like English, Spanish, Italian, and Serbo-Croatian. He would finally land a job in the U.S. State Department in Washington, D.C., and would buy a house in Bethesda, Maryland. And eventually, his mother, Lobelia Bishop, would move in after her husband, William Bradford Bishop Sr., passed away. For those who, like, I saw this story on Unsolved Mysteries and America's Most Wanted, many thought that William Bradford Bishop Jr. was well on his way to having a high-level job in the U.S. State Department. But apparently one colleague / co-worker named Roy A. Harrell Jr. saw a different side of William Bradford Bishop Jr. And here's what he said. He liked the international scene, but apparently Brad Bishop was extremely in despair because twice he was denied a promotion when the annual promotion list came out. And on the last day he would be seen, which was on the day he snapped when he was leaving the State Department, he ran to Roy A. Harrell Jr., told him he was upset that he did not make the promotion list again. And of course, Roy A. Harrell Jr. told him he didn't make it either. And he told Roy he was much better than him, more qualified. And he said he was sorry for saying that he doesn't feel well, he's getting the flu, and he's going home now. And of course, Manny would know that would be the last time that Brad Bishop would ever be seen at the State Department. Because the next day, Brad Bishop's family would be found murdered in North Carolina, and William Bradford Bishop Jr. would just like vanish into thin air. Because after he left work, Brad Bishop withdrew $400 from his bank account and went to a hardware store where he purchased a small sledgehammer, shovel, pitchfork, and a gas can. He then headed to a gas station where he filled it up with gasoline. Then it was between 7:30 to 8 o'clock at night that he arrived home in Bethesda, Maryland, a suburb of Washington, D.C. And that's where all the horror caused by Brad Bishop started to unfold. When he entered the house, William Bradford Bishop Jr. first bludgeoned his wife, Annette Weis Bishop, and it was believed she was reading a book and she didn't even know what hit her. He then bludgeoned their three sons, William Bradford Bishop III, Brenton Jermaine Bishop, and Geoffrey Corder Bishop. By the way, William Bradford Bishop III was 14, Brenton Jermaine Bishop was 10, and Geoffrey Corder Bishop was 5. And they were all asleep when it happened. And then William Bradford Bishop Jr. would bludgeon his own mother, Lobelia Amaryllis St. Germain Bishop, after she had just walked the family's dog, Leo, and she didn't know what hit her either after she saw the horror. William Bradford Bishop Jr. then loaded the 5 dead bodies into the back of his family's 1974 red Chevy Malibu station wagon on March 1st, 1976, and drove 275 miles south to Columbia, North Carolina, in a national park, where he spent the night digging a shallow grave, where he doused the bodies with gasoline and set them on fire. And then it was discovered by a park ranger who noticed it was not only arson, he would discover the site of a brutal and grisly murder. And on Unsolved Mysteries, according to Brad Bishop's co-worker, Roy A. Harrell Jr., he said that from the moment he knew Brad Bishop, that Brad Bishop felt that he was missing something inside of himself. And what constantly caused this in Brad Bishop were his own mother, Lobelia Bishop, and to some extent his wife, Annette Bishop, who believed were belittling him by telling Brad Bishop that he was inadequate, he's washed up, and he was going nowhere in his career. And when Brad Bishop would do this, this is what he built up in his mind to what he would say about other people, that this would be a way of putting them in their place. He set the bodies, Brad Bishop set the bodies of his own family on fire, bought new shoes, disposed of the old ones he used, and then the family's red 1974 red Chevy Malibu station wagon would be found abandoned at the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee. It was like Brad Bishop had just completely covered up his tracks and nobody knew where to find him. And then according to Unsolved Mysteries, 2 years later, Roy A. Harrell Jr. said he would see possibly Brad Bishop again in Sorrento, Italy. Of course, Roy A. Harrell Jr., of course, he passed away in 2017, said he was in the Piazza Square getting ready to board a bus bound for Rome. So he had to wash up in his hands in the men's bathroom to get ready for this journey. And he said he saw this homeless, disheveled man coming in, and he could tell it was his, and he could tell by the looks of it, it was his co-worker, Brad Bishop. He tried to convince Brad Bishop to come with him back to Rome to get Brad to turn himself in, because he knew Brad Bishop had a warrant for his arrest for the murders of his family, but the man would have no part of it, and he just ran. Now, another co-worker said she would see him in Stockholm, Sweden, but had no idea he had a warrant for his arrest. The sledgehammer's never been found, and neither has Brad Bishop's diplomatic passport, being that he was a foreign diplomat. They've also been examined 2 dead bodies believed to be that of Brad Bishop, but all DNA confirmed they were not that of wanted fugitive William Bradford Bishop. Then I remember on YouTube, a woman came forward, did a DNA test, and it all confirmed that she is indeed the daughter of wanted fugitive William Bradford Bishop Jr. But God only knows if William Bradford Bishop Jr. is still alive, and if he is, or where he's at. Why he did this to his family will probably never be known. Look, William Bradford Bishop had no excuse to do that to his family. Not even to his sons or anybody. He shouldn't have done that. But if it is true that his wife and mother were belittling him by telling him that he's inadequate, washed up, and his career's going nowhere, that's not helpful either. You don't do that to your wife, to your son or husband. That's not going to help him, because he was in complete despair, because twice he had worked hard for his promotion in the State Department, and once a year when it comes out, it was twice rejected. It was denied. Of course, I asked him, commented like, I wonder why he never got his promotion. Of course, one replied was he failed a psychological evaluation. I don't know if that's really the case. Then one said that they were picky, so I don't know the real answer of why William Bradford Bishop Jr. was, in fact, denied a promotion. Just like like they said on Unsolved Mysteries, until William Bradford Bishop Jr. is found, we'll probably never know the real answer of why he unacceptably massacred his whole family like that. It'll continue to remain a mystery, and only God will know that answer. Well, hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you think. Thanks.